Hey friends, Michelle here with Rising Sun Oracle. Welcome to the channel if you're new. Welcome back if you are returning. It's always a joy to have you here. Thanks for being in touch with us here on the channel and participating in another episode of Tea and Tarot. I'm excited to welcome back one of my beautiful friends, one of my soul friends, Liz from Elysium.Liz. Welcome back.
Hi, thanks for having me, Michelle. I'm
It
so
is
honored to be here.
It is a joy to welcome you back to the show for season two. And we've had some changes. We're doing some transition into new things for you. So we like to take this opportunity to highlight those events and things for you. So take it away. Share with the audience what you're up to and what's been going on.
Yeah, thank you. So my name's Liz. My company is Elysium. You can find me on Instagram at elysium.liz. And what I have going on right now is I do interactive tarot readings. I've been reading for over 22 years, and I also teach tarot. So if you want like a full hour with me, we can do that. And then I also do, if you just have a few quick questions, I do $25 a question, and I do voice clips and photos of your cards. And that's really good for people that they want to have a reasonable price point. They just have a few things they want to ask. So I'm offering that. And then coming up this summer in Toronto, we will be doing sound baths with my girlfriend, Melissa McQuillan, and we'll be doing them all around Toronto in different parks. So this is going to be fabulous because what we do is we talk about the new moon or the full moon cycle. We talk about what's going on in the planets and how this affects you. And every person gets a one card tarot reading. And then we go into the sound bath. So it's a really cool way of just checking in with other people, like minded people, getting some messages from spirit. And then we go into more of this meditative receiving kind of state. And people really love it, especially to set intentions for your new moons and really focus on what you want to create, what you want to manifest. And then with the full moons, it's really about what do you want to release? What do you want to let go of? What do you want to heal? So coming up in the summer, I'll be putting it on my Instagram. I'll be also creating Eventbrites so that really we want to connect with people, but also really bring in the sound healing. And why I'm so passionate about sound healing is because it just cuts across barriers, language, ethnicity. It is something that we don't, it's its own language, you know, it's something that speaks to everyone, even if we don't understand this resonates with us, and it heals us and balances our chakras and opens our chakras and aligns us. And really, I've seen profound shifts with people just with sound with the various instruments. So that's something that I'll be sharing on my Instagram, and I'll be sharing on my website as well.
I'm so excited about that because where we're from, Liz and I are both in the Toronto area in Canada, and we've been under lockdown since March 2020. So we're starting to very slowly shift into coming out of lockdown this summer. So I think that's a beautiful opportunity to bring that energy right back up and bring
Yes.
people together in a beautiful, unique way. Are you performing on the sound bowls or then sound bath,
Yeah.
or
So
is it Melissa? Or
I co-create with a few people. I work with the sound bowls, the crystal bowls, the Tibetan bowls, the rattle, the drums, and I have one man who is incredible, Anthony Barr. If you look him up, Barr. Anthony Barr does the flutes. He is phenomenal. Similar to the crystal bowls that are aligned with different tones that resonate with your different chakras. He has flutes. And that sound, when you can hear the flutes going and the bowls going at the same time, and my girlfriend Rosa, she does crystalline alignments. So at some of these events, it's just going to be myself and Melissa, and at other events, it will be the four of us. So it's just a great way to expose yourself to different sounds. And I've even done sound baths for the private school that I work at with people that are, you know, quote unquote, not on the spiritual path or don't meditate. And of course, everyone is on the spiritual path, whether it's, you know, conscious or not. And people have had like profound awakenings where they've accessed childhood memories. and they've never meditated before, and they've gone to one sound bath. So I would love to see people come out and just experience the sounds, because it's so transformational, even in just one experience.
I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited to see what unfolds for you this summer. Friends, that information is going to be posted down below. So please be sure to connect with Liz and join her for one of these wonderful events this summer in the Toronto area if you are in our wonderful city. And leading into that, because you are such a phenomenal reader, and I've had such profound experiences with you myself on a personal level. You may have seen, friends, here on my channel, my last two readings with Liz. The same message popped up, which happened to be 2 years apart, which was kind of interesting. So I'm going to ask of you, if you wouldn't mind thinking of the collective, channeling a message for the collective, what they would need to hear today, please.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm using the Vagabond Wild Tarot by Tiffany Sosa. She has a lot of decks, but this is just my favorite tarot deck by her. It's very ethereal, very kind of fairy-like nature, pastel colors, which you'll see. And I wanted a message for the collective, everyone on path this summer. What do we need to focus on? What do we need to learn? And what do we need to cut away and release? And so what I got was some very powerful divine feminine figures in this deck, which is the Queen of Swords. There she is. Followed by Justice, another huge, powerful, divine feminine archetype in tarot. And then we end off with the Hierophant. And so I want to really dive into these cards. So first of all, okay, I have a lot of clients that really struggle with boundaries and really struggle with self-esteem, self-worth. And it's the Queen of Swords is jumping in here to be like, no, this stops. Out of all the queens, she's the most intelligent. She's a high-level thinker. She's an excellent communicator. She's extremely articulate, and she doesn't take shit. And so she's the most evolved, and she can sometimes be cutting. She can sometimes be cutthroat because she has to be. And so she recognizes what the bullshit is going on in her life. And she realizes that she doesn't have time for people, places, things, habits, patterns that are holding her back. So the Queen of Swords is someone who steps forward and takes that sword and really realizes that if the universe is giving you that sword and you are divine and you are a queen or you are a king, we're all kings and queens, because this isn't gendered. We all have divine masculine and feminine energy. And so the Queen of Swords, what she says is, if you are receiving that sword from the universe, which is a gift, it's really an honor. And we have to be very discerning about how we utilize that sword. We can knight someone, we can bless someone, or we can, chop someone's head off. So that's why I love the Queen of Swords, because, she realizes that she holds a very heavy instrument, a weapon, and it can be wielded in whatever way she chooses in the moment. So we have to be discerning about how we use our voice, how we use our throat chakra. We want to speak our truth. We want to be the Queen of Swords. We want to draw firm boundaries, but we want to do so with peace. We want to make sure that we don't hold back our truth, because then we're smothering ourselves. But the Queen of Swords is coming forward to say, be very discerning about this notion of the throne room. So your throne room is the inner chamber of your heart. Whoever has access to the throne room, and by the way, there should be very few people, are the people that know, like, day to day, your truth, what is going on with Michelle. And a lot of people, what happens is they let too many people in past the gate and they don't even realize it. And then they're like, why are there all these people in my throne room? I'm overwhelmed. And you end up trying to maintain too many relationships and be that really close friend to too many people. It's not feasible. It's just not feasible. So the Queen of Swords is saying, be discerning and really wield that sword and say to yourself, it is an honor to be in the throne room. And to take this a step further with Justice, Justice is all about reciprocity, balance, and again, being discerning, taking emotion out of your decisions. And what Justice says is, you have to be fair, you have to be grounded and centered in your decisions. Really, it's looking at energy. Ethics and morals need to be blind. So whoever is in your throne room, it has to be the relationships that are based on these egalitarian connections where there's give and take, where there's ebb and flow, where there's exchange of energy effortlessly, easily. You're not keeping track of it. It's just always in divine flow, in equality and in balance, right? And so what's very interesting about these two female archetypes that are extremely powerful in this tarot deck and in all tarot decks, but especially in this tarot deck, is they work in unison. So this is time for you guys to really look at your relationships and look at, are we aligned ethically and morally? Are we aligned in terms of our energy exchange? And then really looking at, what? Then the Hierophant comes in. What is the lesson? Is this someone that, I am keeping in the inner chambers of my heart? Or can I look at this relationship and potentially recontextualize the relationship so they're in the rose garden? They're still in my orbit. I still see them from time to time, but I've escorted them out, so to speak. And that doesn't even need to be verbal. But I've escorted them out, so to speak, and they're enjoying part of my kingdom. I visit them sometimes. We have connection, but this is not somebody who has access to me. And so the queen is very discerning about, you don't need to text back right away, email back right away. We're living in this society where everything is instantaneous. Anything that we want basically be at our doorstep, momentarily or instantaneously almost, or within a week or two. And so the idea of the Queen of Swords is she's saying, you know what? You have to conserve your time, money, energy, resources. And at this time, the collective consciousness wants us to go into a deep cocoon and do deep shadow work and cut away whatever it is that needs to go. Or else we continue to be trapped in these cycles and bring people with us on the journey that really shouldn't be there anymore. And so the Hierophant, again, is a really important card. He is the card of 2021. And so, the Hierophant says this is a time for deep spiritual awakening, lessons, introspection. And so the Queen of Swords and Justice are setting you up to really conserve your energy, to be discerning about who you spend your time with, to look at relationships and say, after I was with them, do I feel like I was giving advice the whole time? Do I feel like they filled up my cup? Did they challenge me? Did they celebrate me? Did they inspire me? And that should be give and take, right? That should be both ways. And so the Hierophant is saying, if that isn't there, then you have some thinking to do, because maybe you need to understand the lesson. Because right now, a lot of soul contracts are coming to an end. And a lot of people are afraid, they're resisting ending soul contracts because someone has been in their life for a long time, because there's a deep soul connection. There's past lives that are really messing with people. Like the idea is, if someone is not respecting you, if someone is not returning your texts, if someone won't have a conversation, even if it's a quick coffee that you want to have for closure, and they're not giving you that, this person is not worth your time. And so the Queen of Swords is saying, balance out the divine feminine with the divine masculine, with the Hierophant. What is the learning? What is the lesson? And really integrating that into your seat of power. And the Queen of Swords is saying, take back your power, redraw the boundaries, and escort people out that have overstayed their welcome. That's really what's happening here. And Justice is saying, then you return balance, equilibrium, harmony into yourself. Then you have more time for your own spiritual journey, your own path. You have more time to be alone, because sometimes I see with clients, they make their whole lives about this other person, their partner, their loved one. And we need to come back to ourselves. We need to really learn that self-love and nurturing ourselves. And that really only comes with solitude, because right now the universe is inviting us forward to really learn these deep rooted lessons that need to be integrated. And sometimes we use relationships as distractions, and we love solving other people's problems because it's fulfilling, because it makes us feel like we were needed. It fulfills us because, we are bringing light and truth to other people, especially you and I as readers. It's very fulfilling to do this work. But once again, we then need to balance it out with the Hierophant, with what am I studying? How am I pushing the boundaries for myself in terms of my mind? How am I expanding? How am I integrating new knowledge, new information, and experiential learning, not just from the books, not just from courses and teachers, but also, actually meditating in nature alone, really getting back to basics. That's what the Hierophant is saying. So the more discerning you can be about who is in that throne room, who has access to you, then what naturally happens with redrawing those boundaries is boom, you restore that balance, that equilibrium. You have more energy to give because you're only giving to a select few. For example, in my throne room, I have two people. I have my husband and I have one of my closest friends. There's lots of other people that are my friends and I see them from time to time, sure. But in the throne room, there's two people. So we need to really look at redrawing our boundaries, who has access to the inner chamber, and just, really looking at relationships as there are different tiers. Because if we're really going to give 10% of ourselves to someone when they call and we're picking up, there can really only be 2 to 3 people there. Of course, we're not talking about obviously your children. We're talking about key relationships, your romantic relationship, if you have one, and any close relationships after that. Or else it ends up being that we may be drained, we may be people all want a piece of us. Everyone wants to be your close friend, they want a coffee with you, and now you're balancing all these relationships. It's just not realistic, and it actually is procrastinating on your purpose and prolonging what you need to face with the Hierophant. So the Hierophant is coming in and saying, this is the year. 2021 is the year to make those huge leaps and bounds in your spiritual progression. And what that means is you've got to wield that sword and draw those boundaries. Yeah. So that's my message for everyone.
Those have been amazing and powerful messages for the collective. I thank you for sharing your gift with us and your message. Friends, again, Liz's information is going to be posted down below. If you're in the Toronto area this summer, please make it a point to attend one of her sound bath moon energy events and get a reading from her. It's just phenomenal. Thank you for joining us, Liz.
Thank you so much for having me. I was so honored to be on last time, and to come back was just such a joy. So thank you.
Pleasure. My pleasure to have you here. So Liz's information to be posted down below. Friends, we thank you for joining us today. And on that note, we'll see you all next time. Take care, Liz.
Bye. Thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.